Hi, it's Charlotte, the USH manager from Ways USH. I'm here today to help you to enroll in the program, whether it's after school care or vacation care. So I'm going to have the enrolment form in front of us today, and I'll show you step by step how you're going to complete that. Now, I know at this point you may have opened it, or you've not even had a chance to open it because you hear enrolment form and you're like, oh, I'm going to have to sit down and get all the documents out, and it just feels like a big task. We completely understand that, and this is why we're doing this video. But also, what we're going to tell you what we need, what's mandatory, and what's just preferential, and just helps us to look after your child and give them the best possible care. Now, you might be asking, why is a lot of this information mandatory? So we're under the Education and Care Services, which means that there's certain regulations that we have to follow, and those regulations are in place to support and make sure that your child is safe. And then we have some things that are just policy related. And so when we actually look at the enrolment form, you're going to be able to see that along here, you've got the asterisk, and it's going to tell you what is needed. And then you can actually, if you can see here, you can see we've got like sort of the arrow, and we can make that smaller. And yet again, you've got some information here where if we're looking, there is a question mark. It's going to give you a little hint or a tip to make sure that you're filling it in correctly as well. And then beyond that, you can see there's actually sections where there are no asterisks, which means we don't actually need it. It's there because there's a common format for enrolment forms, but it doesn't mean that you require it for us to be able to look after your child. Okay, so we're going to be going through section by section. And helping you to complete this so it can be done, and you can then start booking your child in. You can have your CCS approved, and you can get the the discount or subsidy that you are eligible for. And once the enrolment form is actually approved, as I said, this will enable you to download the owner app. And when you have the owner app, you're going to actually be able to book in your child, whether that's for one-off days in after school care, or whether that's for a variety of days in vacation care. Okay, so now here we go through step by step. Okay, as you can see here, we've got the child's details. So I'm going to be having, my child is Mickey Mouse today. So Mickey first name, surname Mouse. But Mickey doesn't like being called Mickey. He's got preferred name. Don't have to do this, but if your child has, a nickname, it just helps us. So from day one, we're actually calling your child by their preferred name. So we're going to say Mick. He is male, and his date of birth. Now, we do only take from 7 to 12. It's not automated here to stop you from completing the enrolment form if your child is younger. So just be aware that I don't want you to start to complete the whole enrolment form when your child isn't actually eligible for our service just yet. Okay, this is where I'm going to have to do some maths. Okay, so Mickey is, let's see, we're going to have him as, he is going to be a, no, cannot do the maths here. Clearly, he is born in 2018. He is June. He is 13. Okay, Centrelink number. So the Centrelink number, it has to be 9 numbers and a letter at the end. Now, as you can see here, it's asterisk. So you're going to be able to find that on your MyGov or any letters from Centrelink. If you are not eligible for Centrelink, you're probably like, oh, but it's telling me that I need to put this down. If you put down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, that's going to be a way that we know that you're not eligible from here, and we'll add a note to your enrolment once that's done. Otherwise, try and put it in. If you can't find it at that moment and you're like, gosh, I've started the enrolment form, I understand that I can't save it, do the same and follow up with an email, and then we can put the Centrelink reference number in afterwards. Just make sure this is the child's details. Make sure you are putting your child's CRN here, because it might delay us being able to, get the CCS approval if you confuse. And just make sure that you're putting the if you've got children, multiple children, make sure you are putting the correct child's CRN number in. We're going to be popping our street address in. That is, yes, it is mandatory. And then we're going to do Bondi. Now you can see here yet again, no asterisks, but it just gives us an idea of what who the child's living with, and just means that we can best support your child. If we're aware that there's maybe a different living situation, we can be mindful of how we might talk about things in National Family Week, or just in general, we're not making assumptions if we have that information there. So living with mum and younger brother. Okay, this next bit is permanent days of attendance. Permanent days, this is specifically for after school care bookings. If you select the days here and you're just booking for vacation care, that means you are going to have permanent days each vacation care period. We do review it. However, if we're in the middle of the holidays, sometimes we are fast tracking your enrollments, and because we're trying to help you to be able to book in last minute. Please make sure you're only doing this if you are interested in after school care bookings. So Mick wants to be booked in on Monday for East FC, and he's also really interested in doing the soccer and the cooking on a Wednesday, so I'm popping that in. I know that he might be interested in some casual days, but I'm not going to book him in for a permanent booking for the Fridays. The start date. Now, I'd like him to start next week on the 8th. But if I want a casual booking for the Friday, if I put in the 8th, I'm not going to be able to book him before then. So please put the date from which you want to start to be able to be booking in from. So I'm going to do it from then. Permission to collect my child from the school that they attend. Yes, because it's a permanent booking and he's going to be collected. The school they attend. Now, we have a selection of schools here. If your child does not attend one of those schools, that's fine. Just don't select and then email us to let us know, or have a chat first, because it might not, it's one of those, it'll see if whether it's possible to pick up, or maybe your child's going to be independently arriving. Okay, but actually Mick goes to Bellevue Hill. There we go. And then that's just the school, and then it is a bit repetitive here, but it has to be because we've got the bus here, and that is something that we do need, but we haven't done it asterisk because we know that not all families are going to be using it for after school care, that they might be using it for vacation care. So this is something that we do need for families who are using after school care. We do this so you don't have to do a separate form. We understand there's lots of forms, there's lots of information that we have to do, and we're trying to make it as simple as possible for you to do it, whilst at the same time still being compliant. Okay, we do need at least one parent or guardian. The primary one, we can see that there is a question mark here. The primary parent. Now, you might refer to the primary parent, which is the parent that the child is with for most of their care. And most of the time it is the parent who might be completing the form, but here this is whoever is linked to the child for CRN purposes. So because this could also delay you getting your CCS applied, and so you might also have, if you are a split family, both parents can be eligible to have the CCS as well. And so it's whoever might be putting this through here. So yes, you might be like, oh, but both of us are. That's okay. It's whoever's going to be, having the CCS applied here. Right. Okay. We have a Michael because it's popular and we've got Michael Mouse. So Mickey Mouse is Michael Jr. Okay. Email address push@ways.org.au. And we do need a number here, and you can see it should be 10 digits, so we're not doing the plus. So we sometimes do have international families. Do let us know. It won't let you do it here, so it might be a bit fiddly, but just follow up with us, and so we can help you to do that. I'm going to be putting 0423. There we go. And then we've also got our, click on here to get our date of birth. Cool. We do other England. Yes. And then I have got, I'm not eligible, so I'm going to be doing that. Let's see. I am a mechanical engineer. Now, you don't have to fill this in. It just, the hours of work, that just means we can reach out to, like, if it just means that we generally might know, like, oh, we're on an excursion, it might be tricky for us to contact you. If we see a doctor or a surgeon, they might be, it's one of those where there's just an awareness when we have a new enrollment that, like, okay, there might be certain roles, it might be trickier for us to contact you, and we're just mindful of how we might contact you in case there's any updates that we need to give you to update. And then, like, we notice, okay, you finish a bit later, it just gives us, an idea so we can best provide that care. You don't have to fill it in. Okay. Secondary parent, you can see this is not asterisk. It's helpful because then that will mean someone else who can do the pickup, but we understand that every family is different and it might not be necessarily possible for us to do that. For you to add that information, that's okay. You don't have to. We're here to best support you and your family's needs. Cultural considerations. If we have an idea of languages spoken home, as you can see, not asterisk, it is technically something that we require, but it can be overridden because it's also about us meeting families' needs as well. So this is just for us to best support. So maybe your family is Jewish and you are kosher, and that just means that we know that we need to make sure that we have our kosher plates available, or maybe halal, or maybe you're Catholic and you practice Lent, or yeah, there's different sort of, it just means that we're best able to best support and take those cultural considerations into place. Or that might be just something that's a chat and we can add it in later on. Okay. And then, yeah, religious celebrate, because we do like to do celebrations throughout the year of all the cultures of the children that are in our care and of the educators in our care as well. Medicaid number. She's probably like, why do we need Medicare number? This is more policy related and it is related in terms of keeping your child safe. The reason why is because if we do have to take your child to seek medical attention, it means that we're not having to contact you for, to clarify anything. It does say later on that you do give permission, and it is part of our policy in terms of us looking after your child. It just means that we're able to then take your child and essentially ensure that they get the care that they require urgently if needed. So you can see here the Medicare number. If you're not eligible for Medicare, we're just going to do this again. And then we're going to do, just make sure you've done it the format that they've wanted. As you can see here, the month and the year. And there we go. This is beneficial, the medical practitioner, the dental, if we did need to, but not necessary. We do need to know if your child has an allergy or anaphylaxis. And very clearly, we do need a medical management plan. If you say they have it and you don't upload it, we cannot process the enrollment form. We need the medical management plan. If you decide not to say this and your child is booked in and we find out at a later date, we may have to cancel care at that point because we're not able to keep your child safe. Okay? The medical action plan does need to be within the last year as per our policy. We do need a photo and we do need the correct medication with a pharmacy label on as well. So you need to make sure you're giving that correct information. Medical acknowledgements. We do need we need this acknowledged. It's just so you understand it's about the seeking medical treatment, any medication. So yes, you do need to acknowledge it. You need to say yes. If there's any medication we bring in, we're going to make sure a form is completed and that we provide it with a label. Do you agree to collect if they become unwell? We do need this. Do you authorise the nominated supervisor or another educator to seek medical treatment from a registered medical practitioner, hospital or ambulance service? Yes. And you acknowledge this. Do you authorise to seek dental treatment? And that's why we ask for those details there. It just means that we know where to go. Otherwise, we will go to one that we choose. And as per the terms and conditions of accessing, I understand and accept the nominated supervisor or the educator will transport in an ambulance in the event of an emergency, and that you'll reimburse any necessary expenses and care by the children's service. Okay. Do you authorise that if the child's diagnosed with asthma and or anaphylaxis and emergency occurs, the nominated supervisor or other educators may administer emergency first aid without making contact? So we might be giving an EpiPen or a puffer. It's just making sure that, and then we'll notify you afterwards. It's just part of our policy to make sure that we can keep children safe. This is where we need to know, does your child have anaphylaxis or allergies or asthma? Now, if your child does not have asthma but has post-viral asthma and has a puffer, so they have medication, we still need a letter from the doctor because it is managing a medical condition. Even though it's not labelled as asthma, we do require that. So please make sure you have that. So there's no back and forth. Does your child have another medical condition? No. Mickey Mouse has been doing pretty well. Any dietary restrictions? Yes. Gluten intolerant. It's not a medical condition, but Mick doesn't do too well with the gluten. That means the educators can plan and make sure that their menu has got a gluten-free option. Most of the time we do that anyway, but just making sure that we have that information to best look after your child. No, I've got an immunisation form that I can attach at the end. Oh, it has to be uploaded at the end, but don't worry, there's a workaround. Are your child's immunisations up to date? Yes, they are. Transport authorisation. Now, this just says that if there's an excursion, we're transporting them. Regular outings, an excursion that's not a regular outing. Yep, I'm happy. It's an excursion-based service. Sounds great. Is your child undertaking or having undergone assessment to support any particular developmental areas, such as speech therapy and occupational or autism? Actually, we have been in discussions with a GP about an ADHD diagnosis. So, but we've not had a diagnosis. I'm just gonna let them know, because then that means they've already got those ideas. It's so you might be concerned by sharing that, and it's going to stop you from being able to access the service. No. There's a wealth of experience in terms of neurodiverse or other conditions, or other diagnoses to best support. It might be just a fear. I actually really don't like balloons popping. Sounds super silly for me to write that in, but if we're doing something in the program where we've got balloons, then maybe we're going to swap that activity that day. Just means that we're going to be helping the team out to best support my child. Okay, routine. Dinner at 6 p.m. So the service closes at 6 p.m. This means the staff know probably not a good idea to give them a late snack if they're hungry. That means that we can follow up and have that discussion with you. Right. Don't need it, but it's just nice for the service to know. Siblings, I've already mentioned the siblings up there, that's fine. Any close relations attending the service? Well, they do have a cousin who is 11, Bobby. Okay, court orders. There's not a court order, but to say a parenting plan, and we do actually have that in place. And it's just good for them to know. Are there any relating? No. There's not a court order, but there's a parenting plan in place. Oh. First emergency contact with the mother. If there's anyone else who's collecting the child or can get authority, please put it here. But I know you're getting to this point and you're like, oh, I'm only halfway through. Like, do I really need to put a contact? If you have someone turning up and you've not given permission on the form, then it just means that then we're going to have to go through calling you and getting permission. We usually do this we ask you, we process your enrollment and we'll check in and we'll say, hey, is this everyone who's going to collect your child? Do you think play dates, maybe, yeah, I've mentioned Bobby's coming. Is Bobby's mom the cousin? So if there's cousins, or there's family friends, or there's other children attending the service and they live down the street, there's a neighbour, is there someone else who's highly likely going to be picking up the child apart from me? I think Auntie is actually going to be picking up, so I'm going to put Auntie down here. And it's going to be... Ooh. Here's the Auntie. And they live at 62. Just down the road from us. And then... Let's see. See how that works. Wrong one. Sorry. Okay, we've got an email address there. And we're going to have another phone number again. Okay. Yes, I see. We are halfway through. Yes, there's been a lot of explanations. We've got this. Okay, now these are just tick boxes for this person. Maybe you just want them to collect, but maybe you want them to do other things. I promise you, the rest of it is a lot of tick boxes. We're not filling in the information. So, can they be contacted in terms of transport? Yep, I'm happy because she's the auntie for medical treatment. So if I'm not available, that means they've got someone else to contact. Yep, I'm happy for that. Can this person be contacted to give consent? So maybe I've been busy and I've not completed the form that morning. Yep, I'm happy for that. Can this person be contacted to give consent to them going in an ambulance service? Yes, that's fine with me. For any regular outings, yes, I'm happy for that. The person can be contacted and notified of an emergency. If I can't be contacted, yeah, I'm fine. And has the person been to, they can drop off and collect? Yep, I'm happy with that. I'm just going to do Marie at the moment. Childcare subsidy, here we go. Do I meet it? Yes. Mixed days with me, 2 nights a week. Are you liable for fees for child and approved? Yes, I am. I do meet residency. Does your child meet the immunisation? Yes. Have I completed the assessment on the website? Yes, I have. And have I received confirmation? Yep, I received my letter. Okay, that makes it easier because then we can see the CCS stuff. So please read the following agreement carefully before signing. Oh, okay. Nearly 3/4 down. So a few things I have to agree. Yes, it's near the end. And I'm wanting to just tick yes, 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 and I get that. So you can see here some of these are asterisked and some of them are not. So some of these just help us out. Some of these relate to technology use, some of them relate to technology time, sunscreen. Some people have preferences on sunscreen. This just means that we know what your preferences are, because especially if your child's coming on one day, yes, you might be like, why do I have to fill this all in? It just means that, if we're getting a refusal of putting sunscreen on, we can just check the enrolment. Otherwise, we'll be like, hey, we're just about to go out. They've said you don't want, you don't want them to have this sunscreen brand on. The form doesn't say anything. Can you advise? When we're just about to go out the door. Not ideal. So 5 minutes left of your time. Okay, let's see. I've read and understood the information provided in the parent handbook. This handbook can be downloaded from the documents section for future reference. I haven't because I'm not on the app, but I'm going to, yeah, because I'm going to read it. I've given permission to participate in outings of interest. Permission slip will have to be signed for allowing. I give permission to participate in evacuation in an emergency situation that is deemed necessary. The child may need to leave the service. Okay, yeah, they can leave if there's an evacuation. Sunscreen. Well, yeah, I want them to have sunscreen. Band-aids. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Insect repellent. As you can see, it says supplied by parents. It says photos and video footage. For training purposes, it won't leave the service. Yeah. So if it's in the centre, photos and videos to be used in learning stories, share with other families. That's okay, I don't mind them having that. For student training. No, I don't want that one. Photos and videos to be used on the service website. My preference, no. Do you only give permission for photos to be taken for your own personal viewing? Yep. Okay. So yeah, it's quite thorough there, but it just means that we know your preferences for photos. We understand that this is a very parents have. We want to respect the different views that parents have in this area. So yes, there's quite a few questions there, but it's so then we can best support and make sure that we're doing exactly as you want with the photos and video footage of your child. Swimming ability, we do go to water activities, and that's why we have that. You can do skateboarding because we have some skateboarding stuff upstairs on the rooftop, so we do actually ask, so then we know. Some parents don't want to, that's absolutely fine, we want to respect that. And this is a bit of a lengthy one, but this is essentially about electronic devices. This is about the fact that some of the children will bring devices in during the holidays. It's making sure that they're not accessing any social media. We know that there are changes in laws coming up, but it's just making it very clear that children should not be accessing social media or YouTube or any other apps like that. That we understand that your child might want to become more independent, but in the same way that maybe if you're in a meeting in work, if there was a phone call, you might have to say, excuse me, we're trying to teach children those skills where it's like they need to be able to make sure that before they're using their phone, they're just giving us a heads up. And then also just asking permission of other children in terms of photos, because actually we want to make sure that every child feels safe in our service. So that's why this is quite a thorough section here. It's making it very clear that our expectations around technology device. We want to work with families, and that's why we sort of want you to be able to agree with this. Okay, We are there at the end, and as you can see, we've got documents that we need to attach, your immunisation records, photo is beneficial but not necessary. Yes, as we said before, there were parenting plans in place if there's any. If we don't have all of the pages necessary, it is an incomplete document, which means that we can't enforce it. If there is a court order in place and we don't receive the documentation, we cannot enforce it. So yet again, it's all about making sure your child is safe in our care. And then, as you said, not mandatory, just nice for us to know. You're going to write your full name. So I am Michael Mouse. I'm going to do my new signature. Ooh, yes, it is on the screen. What a lovely signature. What a lovely autograph. And I'm going to fill in my direct debit details here. So that's how we're doing the payment details. I've done this, I've done this. You can suggest, the particular day that you want it to be billed or the frequency. Most families, if you don't select that, it will be on a Tuesday every week. We have added this in to then support families. We understand families have different needs. Just make sure you really review your direct debit service agreement, so it's really clear. All the obligations, your T&Cs. You're going to do your reCAPTCHA where you're saying I'm not a robot, and you are going to submit. And make sure you don't select that one about resetting the form. We're going to press submit. It's successfully submitted. We'll be in touch soon. Main thing is, at the moment, you can't start the form and then go back to it. We get it. Families are busy. The main bits of information that we require from you: your child's name, your primary one, any medical conditions, and any court orders. Right? They're the main thing. Essentially, it's like we need to know who's collecting your child. Is it anything medical wise, or are there any parenting arrangements so we can best support your child? That's it, essentially. It's just sometimes the enrolment form is in a way where it might seem overwhelming, but that's essentially what we need to know to be able to look after your child. If it's not asterisked, and you're trying to do it quickly, we understand, and so we will let you know if there's anything that we further require from you. Okay, hopefully that was useful and beneficial to help you to get it done, because we get it, it can be tricky, you're doing lots of other things, and yeah, we're trying to remove those obstacles to assist you, so then we can help you with the care so you can do the things that you need to do. Anyway, take care.